So I want to talk about Dolores Cannon and her relationship with Nostradamus. Dolores Cannon has written a series of books on her conversations with Nostradamus. Now, this great seer, Nostradamus, said that he would never be channeled, so I wondered how she, Dolores Cannon, did this. It's a special technique which is explained in her books, and I think some of you will find this very interesting. But I wanted to read this short piece from her first book, the volume 1, and it's part of the addendum at the end. I thought it was rather relevant to what's going on in these days. So what I'm going to read now is from Dolores Cannon. In volume 2 of her Conversations with Nostradamus, chapter 14, 666, The Secret of the Number of the Beast, deals with the common technology involving computers. Such sophisticated development was unheard of in 1987 when this information came through. We were taking the first fledgling steps. Computers were just beginning to become popular on the market and had not yet been put to widespread uses that developed in the 1990s. I wrote my first 5 books on a typewriter, so I was exhilarated with the purchase of my first computer in 1986. I only used it for its word processing capability. Even at its snail pace, it was easier than using the typewriter, except when it decided to play games with me and destroy a day's work in a keystroke. In such cases, I had visions of my words floating around somewhere in limbo, never to be recaptured. Later models were more reliable, yet I never envisioned it as more than a glorified typewriter. So, Nostradamus' predictions concerning computers seemed like science fiction in the late 1980s. This is from page 132 of volume 2. The Antichrist will have great communication systems at his disposal because I see him talking into computers and it's his voice that's activating the computer. Page 134. Through his communication networks, he will have access to the files of all people, birth, data, financial information, and things of this nature. So it will be doubly hard to oppose him when he controls the world banking industry and the world economic credit. I asked about the significance of 666 in the book of Revelation in the Bible. He's showing me columns and columns of numbers and more numbers. It looks like information that is usually stored in computers. And this number 666 might be the Antichrist's personal code number that he enters into the different world systems because he establishes a world system of communications and a computer network. At the time this information came through, it seems impossible for a computer system to connect the entire world. I thought it was definitely a futuristic idea, and I mused that it might happen in 100 years, if it happened at all. How mistaken I was. How could anyone in the late 1980s conceive the idea of a World Wide Web becoming reality in only 10 years? And it is definitely a reality that all our birth data, financial records and other information concerning our lives are now part of a vast computer network. If we could not believe such a possibility a short 10 years ago, what other predictions are coming into fruition at an inconceivably fast pace? The computer predictions continue from page 133 of volume 2. He will have already set up a computer network that will leave countries vulnerable. He will be able to destroy their economic base by having access to information. Nostradamus is showing me a picture of a globe with a lot of threads surrounding it, the World Wide Web. He says he will have the master key to it all and will bring nations down to the ground by cutting off their communication with the rest of the world. And he's talking about the Antichrist there. The Antichrist will even invent a computer that will function from a psychic brain level. A person will be able to turn it on by mentally commanding it rather than even speaking to it. Voice-activated computers are being developed in 1996 and could be on the market soon. A computer using the frequency of our brain is now conceivable and could be the next advancement in computer technology. Nostradamus indicated in volume 2 that the Antichrist would be considered a world saviour in the beginning. He would be seen as benefiting mankind with his wondrous inventions. But he saw the dark side emerging once the computer networks had been established. The countries of the world will experience a lot of prosperity by using his system. Financial considerations will be given to them if they become part of his system, and if they do not play ball, they will be cut out and suffer as a result. When the mantle of complete evil takes over, he will start exterminating the people he feels are useless to his system. When he changes, he will try to wipe out people who have no economic benefit for his world scheme. He will wipe out groups of people. Just as Hitler tried to exterminate the Jews, he'll try to exterminate people that he feels are not worthy to live on this planet, the sick, the poor, the enfeebled, and people who have no value in his eyes. Using his network, he will instigate mass euthanasia. There will be no escape because everything will be on file. For example, if one's son was retarded, or if one's mother was too old and unproductive, or if one's sister was mentally or emotionally unbalanced, they would all be slated for extermination. Everything is crippled because he controls the communications network. As a result, he knows what is going on everywhere. We've become a computerized society at that point, and everyone will have a certain number that will be stored in this main computer. In America, our social security number, this number will be indelibly, Dolores Cannon suggests that it's going to be the social security number. But Nostradamus goes on. This number will be indelibly tattooed on your hand, forearm or forehead, depending on what level of his system you belong to. The people in the upper echelon of his system will have this engraved on their forehead so they can walk into any place. The number will be automatically read to bid them to enter. For most of us, it will be indelibly engraved on our hand. This will be done with a laser and will be painless. It will not look like a birthmark or a defect, but will be invisible unless scanned by optical equipment. This way we will be able to go shopping, buy food and enter certain places that are necessary to our work or career. This concept of everyone having a number is also predicted in the book of Revelation in the Bible. This sounded futuristic, but it is also becoming reality in our lifetime now. In my travels all over the world, I am finding experiments along these lines have already begun. I also receive corroborating information from my readers in the form of newspaper and magazine articles. In America, all of our other identifying numbers, military service IDs, driver license, etc., are being replaced by our social security number to facilitate record keeping by only having one number. This is also occurring in other countries. Some are instituting cards to be used that will have all personal data encoded in a computer strip, such as smart cards and the new medical cards in the US. In some European countries, a computer chip is placed under the skin of the hand. When they buy anything at a store, they only have to pass their hand over the scanner, and the money is automatically transferred from their bank account. No cash money exchanges hands, and the necessity of writing cheques is eliminated. In some countries, Australia for one, it has been proposed to permanently identify by computer chips or some other method all newborn babies. Some of these proposals are meeting opposition, but the arguments are that we are becoming a computerized world society, and these advancements will make things easier and faster. They will make identification more verifiable and will eliminate crime. Singapore has already become a completely computerized country. It is said that they can know the whereabouts of any citizen at any moment. Because Singapore is a small country, though densely populated, it will be the guinea pig, and results could be easily monitored and studied. It was felt they could try the experiment there first before applying the concept elsewhere. It sounds to me as though the era of Big Brother is arriving, and at a speed we thought inconceivable a few years ago. In another quatrain, Nostradamus refers to the cabal as having a significant part in this computer network and actually helping the Antichrist in the beginning. So in Century 5, quatrain 23, these men control the whole world situation right now in your time. They are very, very powerful. They are very well hidden. but they control most of the economy of both the known world and the third world. They manipulate different agencies of the US government and other countries because they have the power to do so. They're going to create problems, not because they want money. They have all the money they could wish for. Nostradamus is showing me tons of gold. They, the cabal, want power and control. These men are the leaders of the world, but you don't know of them. You don't even know their names. The media doesn't know of them. They're kept clandestine, but they have great influence, especially on the presidents and leaders of the different world governments. In fact, they're trying to manipulate the government of the Soviet Union to bring another leader into the net. They control part of the media and can do anything they want. Their power is enormous. He's shown me a picture of the globe with lines on it that he has drawn, and everything is tied together. The World Wide Web. These men are the movers and shakers of the world. He shows me they are shaking the world. Nanotechnology, a new science that allows researchers to manipulate individual atoms. Nanotechnology is also based on the concept of tiny, self-replicating robots. The term nanotechnology has been used to describe a number of sciences that deal with dimensions of less than 1,000 nanometers. The underlying principle of nanotechnology is its promised ability to rearrange the atoms in a given substance or object to create a new substance or object. Rearrange the atoms in lead, for example, and you actually would get gold. This sounds like the ancient science of alchemy, and Nostradamus said that alchemy was actively practiced in his day and was the forerunner of modern chemistry. He also said that during the time of the great genius, please see Dolores Cannon book, Volume 1, Chapter 24. He also said that during the time of the great genius, the fantastic claims of alchemy will become realistic and possible. In our interpretation, many of the quatrains described concepts so complicated and advanced that there were no words for them, either in Nostradamus' time or ours in the late 1980s. Now, with the many advances in computer technology, there are finally words and names to describe the indescribable. One of these concepts is the science of nanotechnology. It is now said that the reduction of computer chip size has reached its limitations. The only way to go smaller is to resort to the cellular level. Nano means very tiny, so we are looking at a science that can produce machines or robots so small they can only be seen on the microscopic level. This science has opened an entirely new world of possibilities. Extremely tiny machines or robots could be injected into the human body and be able to travel through the blood system for a variety of purposes. So if you guys are more interested in what Dolores Cannon was doing with Nostradamus, I do recommend her books. There's a series of them called Conversations with Nostradamus. Find God, nothing else matters.